This video is brought to you by Ridge Wallet, a slim front pocket wallet available in carbon fiber and titanium. With more than 250,000 sold, a lifetime guarantee and free shipping, get 10% off with the code GOLDFISH at ridgewallet.com.
Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another Instant Deck Tech. So as you know, Wednesday means it's Wild Card Wednesday here in Instant Deck Tech land, and this week we are heading to Standard for one of the most mythical decks in Standard's history. So if you've been around for a while, you know there was a time where every time a new set came out, people would wonder, can Mono Black Control be a thing? Is this a set that makes Mono Black Control possible? People just love the idea of Mono Black Control decks, and it seems like Dominaria and some of the new cards it's bringing to Standard might finally be the set to make the dream a reality. So we're looking at a deck I'm calling Mono Black Control. Comes to us from Nakano Ekanori, who took it to a top 8 finish at a not that small Japanese tournament. I think it was like 70 players if I'm remembering correctly, so that's not bad in a 70 player tournament. So congrats to Nakano on a really sweet deck. A quick reminder before we break down Mono Black Control for Dominaria Standard. If you enjoy this deck and you want to see it made into videos, take a minute, click the like button, the subscribe button, leave a comment, anything you can do to support your deck, because whichever deck is most popular gets a shot at being made into videos next week. So Mono Black Control, what is the reason to play this deck in Dominaria Standard? And we got to start by talking about the Dominaria cards that really make this deck possible and potentially powerful. And that begins with the mana base. So Cabal Stronghold is one of the biggest reasons to just play all swamps in your deck. The land, it's definitely a watered down version of some past versions, but Cabal Stronghold can still be really powerful. If you can play this and then get 4, 5, 6, 7 swamps on the battlefield, it taps for a lot of mana. So it doesn't do much in the early game. A little bit annoying that it's colorless for some of our cards, but in the late game, this is a card that lets us get to 8 or 10 mana in the same turn and play some really big finishers to close out the game. So that's kind of payoff number one for being mono black. As far as the creatures, the first big creature addition from Dominaria is Dreadshade. So this is the other big reason to go mono black, because it's really hard for a multicolor deck to actually cast Dreadshade on time. In fact, just having Cabal Stronghold is a little bit worrisome because you need triple black on turn 3 to get it down. But once you have Dreadshade on the battlefield, it is a very real threat. It gives you a mana sink. It's almost unblockable if you attack with all your mana open. Gonna be really hard for your opponent to throw stuff in front of it because you can always just pump it and eat their creature, use it like a removal spell. So it is an extremely powerful shade once you get on the battlefield. And our deck with 23 swamps and just the 3 Cabal Strongholds is not only the perfect deck to cast it on turn 3 consistently, but it's also a deck that in the late game can just make this a 10-10, a 15-15 with the tons of mana we can make from Cabal Stronghold. The rest of the new creatures in the deck are Jashu Vess, Lich Knight, and Demon Lord Belzenlok. So these cards are kind of our finishers. Jashu Vess gives us that big payoff with our Cabal Stronghold. We can cast it on turn 4 just to have a big menacing body on the battlefield, but the real payoff for Jashu Vess is casting it with 10 mana with the help of our Cabal Strongholds, kicking it to make 8 2/2 zombies along with Jashu Vess itself. It gives us 20 menacing power across 9 bodies for 10 mana, which is just a really good way to close out the game. So in the late game, this is our plan to just finish things off. And then Demon Lord Belzenlok, just big, trampling, flying, really hard for people to deal with. You got to have like Vraska's Contempt or Cast Out, Dodging Ladder Removal, a fast flying clock in the air, generating card advantage. So just another really powerful mid to late game threat. The rest of the creatures, not exactly new, but very essential to the deck working. Gifted Aetherborn, very important to shutting down aggro in the early game. Lifelink really helps against red decks. Having Death Touch, on the other hand, helps against Verdurous Gearhulks and other massive creatures because it can take them down. And then Walking Ballista is good on turn 2, it's good on turn 10. Awesome with Cabal Stronghold. If we have tons of mana, we can cast it with 8 counters or something and just kill our opponent like a really inefficient burn spell. But the flexibility of being good early and being good late makes Walking Ballista just a great addition to our deck. As far as the rest of the deck, Karn Cynoversa, another new Dominaria edition, and this is going to be the card from Dominaria, I think, that everyone is sick of 3 months from now, 6 months from now. It's just really powerful, and the fact that it is colorless means you can slot it in anywhere. In our deck, it's most mostly generating card advantage. We don't have a lot of other artifacts, so the constructs are fine chump blockers if we're just trying to stall out the game, but for the most part, we're plussing, minusing, drawing extra cards each turn, digging for our land drops, digging for our big finishers to kill our opponent that way. And then for removal, we have tons of it. Another big reason to be mono black is you just get great removal. So Fatal Push cast down for the early game, Never to Return, and also Vraska's Contempt. Not only get creatures, but planeswalkers as well, so a very strong removal suite. We already talked about the land, so sideboard wise, we have a bunch of stuff for control. You notice a lot of creature removal in our main deck. If we run into a deck that's not playing many creatures, we got to be able to take out some of our removal, bring in things like Duress, Lost Legacy for Approach of the Second Sun. Argue's Bloodfest is just repeatable card advantage, so strong in control matchups. And then for aggro, we got Bantu's Last Reckoning, which is just a great removal spell, and Knight of Malice is sneaky good against aggro decks because it dodges a lot of white removal. It can't be sealed away, it can't be hit by Cast Out or Ixalan's Binding, and then it also has the ability to block a lot of mono red creatures, a lot of mono white creatures. A 2/2 first strike, and in a white matchup, a 3/2 first strike actually just stonewalls a lot of creatures in the format. So a sneaky good addition against aggro, and that is mono black control for Dominaria standard. And that's been our instant deck tech for today. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you soon.
Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.